Right now I'm going to be explaining to you the requirements for your presentation on your college research project. First, you might want to take a look at your rubric, which I've also posted on Google Classroom. A couple things to note. You have to talk about all of the topics, and I'll highlight that here. You have to talk about all of the topics that are on this graphic organizer. So location, tuition, programs, entrance requirements, clubs and organizations, living options, scholarships and financial aid, and what to do on the weekends, or fun facts about the place. You must include information about each of those in your presentation. The important thing to remember, though, is you should have detailed information about 2 of those topics. So if you look at mine, I've just highlighted these to kind of express this idea. I'm going to be telling you, if I was doing a presentation, about all of these topics. I'm going to tell you details on the 2 red topics. Those are where I'm going to talk a little bit more and give you more information about those things. So it's not giving a whole bunch of information, like 20 minutes of information for everything. It's a quick minute for each of these, and the rest is just very general and broad. Now, again, to reiterate this, the red is my detailed facts. The blue are just my general facts that I'm going to be going into. So, all in all, you'll still be doing 8 total areas that you gather information about, but your slideshow and presentation only needs to be detailed about 2 of them. So, to start out, I have a title slide that just explains what I'm going to tell you about. After that, the first section I go into is tuition. If you noticed on my graphic organizer, I put tuition in red because I thought I would talk about that at more length. You'll notice in terms of my slides, I have a total of 6 slides here that are colored red. I colored them red to make it easier for you to see, but these are the ones I will go into more detail on. That's why I have more slides to help me explain that. When you make your slideshow, I don't want to see a lot of written information on each slide. If you notice mine, I think this is a pretty clean way of doing it. I put a table in here, and I have a topic, and I have a little bit of information. Now, it's not a whole sentence or a paragraph. It's a tiny bit of information, and if you notice, it's repeated through each slide with a very little change. So when the audience is following me and listening to my presentation, it's going to be hopefully easier for them to understand. Now, after that, you can see I have a couple of pictures on each. I would say maybe 2 pictures is probably the minimum that I would look at for the highest level grade, to say I found things that are clear and help the audience understand the topic. If you remember, we've been doing nonfiction texts and identifying valuable pieces of information that authors share with us. You're an author here. You're trying to give information to the audience. What kind of pictures best reflect what you're talking about? Now, once I am done with this one, I would explain all about the costs of going to UW-Madison. I would be explaining this section in much greater detail. The 6 slides help me go into greater detail. Now, if I were to continue, let's say I want to talk about the location. For this section, I decided that I don't want to talk about the location as much. I don't want that detail. So if you'll notice, my 2 blue slides, there's not much happening. I have, where's it located? Well, the location of UW-Madison is South Central Wisconsin. And I have one more slide that explains how far it is from different places. That's all I would talk about for that. If I wanted more detail about the location and I was choosing to do that, I might add more slides to explain more information. But for me, I chose not to do that. I chose to only do tuition cost and what to do on weekends. So when you create your presentation, keep that in mind. 2 of the sections should be more detailed and have a few more slides, a few more pictures, a few more pieces of information. While the other slides for the other sections should have fewer details because you're just going to touch on them very quickly. That's all I have when you're creating your presentation. You can use this as a model. Remember to put your own information in there, and remember to change different things. I put Bucky the Badger up over here. Please remember when you're making yours that it should be something that reflects your school, not my school on mine.